the most important number in math, but most people don't know what it is. And in this video, I'm going to show it to you really basic what it is and what its original motivation for it is. It's an object of calculus, but forget calculus. We're going to be very easy with this. We're going to start off with $1. Okay, so $1 is how much money we have, and we want to figure out how much money we have after a year. Now, I'm going to start off with $1 and I'm going to talk about annual interest. Okay, so we're going to have an interest of 100% and it's going to be annual. Okay, so 1 year, how much money am I going to have after a year? Well, 100% interest means 100% of 1 is 1. So you're going to have an extra dollar after a year. So the answer is going to be your net money is going to be $2. Okay, so it's just going to be 1 plus 1. Okay, so I'm just going to put this as 1 plus 1. We'll see why I'm doing this. Okay, so we'll sort of separate 1 and the interest you gain. The next thing we can do, and this is an interesting question, how do I make more money? Instead of having 100% interest over 1 year, what if I had 50% interest every 6 months? So of course, having 50% interest is smaller, but now instead I have it every 6 months. How much money am I going to have after a year? Well, 50% means you're going to multiply your money by 1.5. Okay, that's what it means to have 50% interest. You're multiplying by 1.5, which is 1 plus half. And you're going to multiply twice. After the first 6 months, you multiply by 1.5. And after the next 6 months, you again multiply by 1.5. So it's 1.5 squared. So I'm going to write this as $1.5 squared. So we're going to write this as 1.5, which is 1 plus a half squared. Okay, so 1.5 is 1 plus a half squared, which is just going to equal to 2.25. Okay, 1.5 squared is 2.25. So you're going to have more money. You're going to have $2.25. Now let's keep going with this. What if we did an interest that was 25% quarterly, so every 3 months? Okay, so here we are instead going to have 25%, but the period is going to be every 3 months. So now what's going to happen? Well, 25% means you're going to multiply your money by 1.25 every 3 months. So you're going to get 4 times, or after a year, you're going to have 1.25 power 4. Okay, so now we're going to have 1.25 power 4, which is going to equal to, since 1 plus 0.25 is 1 over 4. So 1 over 4 power 4, which is just going to equal to roughly, I'm just going to put an estimate here, 2.4414. Okay, something like that. Okay, that's what it's going to be. So you can see that it's increasing. Okay, if we split up our interest and do more periods, it's more optimal for us. What if we kept going with this? What if instead of doing it every 3 months, we did it every 1 month? Okay, so let's keep going, and we're going to see this really miraculous thing come into play. So let's do every 1 month. And now, of course, our interest is going to be like 1/12 of 100. Okay, so we're going to say, let's just say 1/12 times 100%. Okay, so whatever that is. Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's just you're splitting up 100 into 12 pieces and you're doing your interest every month. So now it's going to be 1 plus 1 over 12 is the factor you're going to multiply your dollar by every month. And you're going to do it 12 times. So you're going to get 1 plus 1 over 12 power 12, which is going to equal to 1 plus 1 over 12 power 12, which is approximately, curious what this is, it's approximately 2.613035. Okay, it keeps going, but 2.613035. That's how much you're going to get. As you can see, you're increasing, right? Now you may think, can I get arbitrarily large amounts of money if I just split up my interest and did many, many periods? Or how can I maximize? What is the maximum money I can get? And this is interesting. So instead of every month, let's do every day. Okay, let's do daily. So there's 365 periods, 365 days in a year. Okay, assuming it's not a leap year. So you're going to say 1 day, and now our interest is going to be 1 over 365 times 100% every day, and that's going to end up being 1 plus 1 over 365 power 365, okay? So you think you're powering by 365, but you're powering a kind of a number very close to 1. So it may not end up being that large, and actually you can find what it's going to be. It's going to be 2.71, I'm going to say it, 2.714567, approximately. That's the first few decimals. Now here's a curious thing. It didn't increase all that much. It increased. But once we went from 1 month to 1 day, you said 12 periods to 365 periods, it did not increase that much. It only increased by 0.1, only 10 cents more. Okay, and that actually is reflective. If you kept on going with this, what happens if we did every hour, every second, every millisecond, every nanosecond? What would happen to our eventual net money? And that is, the answer to that question is E. So that is what E is. And I'll tell you this very rigorously. This is how mathematicians would write it down. Okay, so each time, if we have n periods, right, n periods in a year, then each time we're going to have multiplying our money by 1 plus 1 over n. Okay, so we're splitting up our interest over the n periods, and then we're going to get 1 plus 1 over n power n. This is a sequence of numbers. When n is 1, we had this. When n is 2, we had this. When n is 4, we had this. When n is 12, we had this. When n is 365, we had this. Okay, so this is a sequence of numbers you can find for any n. And in math, we say the limit as n goes to infinity is a calculus concept. If you know what it is, that's great. If you don't worry. It's just what the numbers eventually approach as n gets really large. They never get too large, and they keep increasing ever so slightly. In math, we say it's a bounded monotone sequence, and it has to converge by the completeness axiom. If that didn't make sense, don't worry. If it did, that's great. And this is what we call the number E, which is approximately 2.71828, etc. Okay? So this is the first 5 decimals of E. It's an irrational number, which means it can't be expressed as a fraction. It is the most important number in math, at least as important as pi. It serves a very fundamental role in math. There's so much beyond it. So I hope I introduced it to you in this video. And I'm going to do a series of videos on my channel going on with E to teach you high-level math in a basic way. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with people. You know, if you think people haven't seen this interpretation, anyone can understand this. And I want everyone to understand what E is because it's so fundamental. The most famous equation in math, arguably, and I'm going to end with this equation, is that you know what pi is, the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. There is this famous equation that e power pi times the square root of minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. It's a crazy equation. Square root of minus 1 doesn't even exist as a real number. But this equation makes sense and exists. It shows how fundamental it is, how cool it is. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. And I'm super excited to see you in the next video. I teach pre-calculus, calculus, all levels of math on my channel. So check it out to be a true master of math. And I'm super excited to see you soon.